Hey, welcome back to Discipleship Squared and our discussion of origins. Today, we want to talk about another piece of the puzzle as we talk about what's the chance that life could actually happen by chance. And today, what we want to do is we want to talk about the information problem. Could life actually happen by chance? Remember how we approached this? The question is, how did we all get here? Did we get here by evolution or did we get here by creation? And the way we want to approach this as scientists is we want to take a look at scientific data as it exists in the world today. And can present day processes actually show us which model occurred? If the evidence supports evolution, then we probably ought to be believing that. If the evidence supports creation, then we probably ought to be believing that. And today, again, we want to just kind of finish up on this whole idea of design versus chance. Could life arise just by chance from an inanimate world, or does it kind of look like it had to have been designed? Well, here's a picture for you. If you came along a beach and you saw this in the beach here, wish you were here. If you saw that, what would you think? Would you think that that happened by chance or by design? Well, my guess is that all of you probably said, well, this couldn't happen just by chance. It would happen by design. But why did you say that? Okay. I mean, I have looked up at clouds before, which is just a random by chance collection of water vapor in the air. And I've seen some cloud formations that look like clowns or like giraffes or like elephants. Um, I've seen some pictures of trees and where they're cut in half, and inside there, in the center of it, there's been pictures that look almost like fish. So I think you could get some things that look like other things. So if I had a design of a fish here, or kind of a rough outline of a fish, maybe waves could form that. But I got a feeling that no matter what, all of you would say, well, you could never get this. And the reason why you would say you never get this is because this is a message. It has information in it. Information is by its very nature, somebody had to do that. They had to design it. They had to come up with the message. You know, if I had John loves Mary, I wouldn't think that the waves made that. I would think that John came along and said he loves Mary, or that Mary came along and she said that, John loved her. And the reason why I would say that is because it has information in it. Information systems basically are only made because they're designed. Let's say I have a watch. Now I've got two watches here. I've got watches for the older generation like me that had hands, and then I have a more modern watch. It's a digital watch, be mainly for the younger generation. Okay, I have some of my younger generation that don't even know how to read one of these. But no matter which one, let's say I took those pieces and parts in there. I took them all apart and I had 2 bags, and I put all of the pieces and parts of this one in one bag, and I took all the pieces and parts of this one in another bag, okay? And then what I did was I just shook that bag up, and I shook it up, and I shook it up, and I shook it up, and I just kept shaking and shaking. How long would it be before the actual watch went back together? What do you think? If I shook this long enough, could those parts actually go back together and form a new watch after I took it all apart? Well, my guess would be that you would say no, and that you would be right because, when you shake things up, you don't make more complexity, you make less complexity. Okay. And, even if you could, even if the watch would go back together, okay, and all the pieces and parts actually went back together in the right shape at the right spot, how many of you would think that it would actually come back at the right time? That if I shook them up now, And then, it would come out exactly at the same time as what my time is today. And I would say none of you would suggest that it could happen like that. Why? Well, because time is very specific. It's basically, in a way, a message. It's information. You can't get, even if you have long, long periods of time, you can't get things to go back together and or go together and if it has information in it. Now, here's the whole point of this short little video. All biological proteins contain information. You learn this if you took biology, you learn this, that you have these little things called codons in your DNA molecule, and each codon specifically asks for one amino acid. And if you have a different codon, it asks for a different amino acid, one codon specific to one amino acid. And so our proteins in our bodies have this order of amino acids, and it's basically from your DNA. And since your DNA is different than anybody else's DNA, what happens is your proteins have different orders of amino acids, and they're specific to you. This is how your body knows if something's foreign. If something is foreign and it comes into your body, like a cold virus or a flu virus, the body checks it and checks for this information in your DNA and in the proteins. And if it isn't the same as yours, it screams bloody murder. It says, "Oh, wait, 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 get out of here. You're something foreign." And then it attacks it. This is why organs get rejected when you put like a kidney transplant, and they have to give you medicine to help your body not check that order of amino acids because that information says, hey, you're you. Now, that's information, and information doesn't happen by chance. You have to have a message, you have to have direction. And the question, which just haunts evolutionary scientists, is how in the world did we get these messages that are so specific that helps run all of our body? Information systems indicate design, not chance. And so the whole fact that you're made up of proteins and living things are made up of proteins and they have a particular shape, they're left-handed, and they have information in them and a specific information. It just screams support for the creation model, not the evolutionary model. They don't happen by chance. And so here's another evidence that would suggest that the creation model actually is true. And this is empirical evidence. You can go out and check this and test it in the laboratory and repeat it in the laboratory. It's scientific fact, okay, that information systems indicate design.